The challenge has always been, what is esports, and what is esports in the university and the higher education scene? And that book's not written. There's no cookie cutter design. There's no frame of reference that is true to every single university. So the organization and the original development is now 23 months in development as of this time. And that started with our CIO of IT here at OU went to an Amazon conference and came back asking us what was Twitch.
Mike Aguilar, he kind of took it on as a question from our leadership within IT to start exploring what Twitch was, what esports was, what was this phenomenon that was happening essentially.
And from there, we did an April event that helped us kind of find the first energies on campus to see what kind of interest we had, to a tune of over 100 students that physically came out for a Q&A, 4 League of Legends teams of 5 each that signed up in less than 3 hours, and over 50 to 75 unique viewers on Twitch, all with only 3 to 4 days of promoting and marketing. So it was a pretty good indication that there was more to do here. Fast forward to August of 2017, we was introduced to Jack Counts through our founding vice president, Alex Tu, who's now an alum. And we sat down to start developing the Constitution and looking at the macro view of the industry of ways to approach it for the specific needs of OU's culture.
Built the Constitution, got those founding members.
He reached out to just anyone he knew that was into video games as well. And that was kind of me, Callie, Jasmine, Bailey, basically all of the leadership at this point. We were the first people to show up at meetings. We were the first people to really get involved. And so from there, it just evolved.
That's how that got started. And from there, we went through kind of a year of just trying to do some chalking, do some Q&A sessions here in Headington College even, get people in the know to some extent. And we got up to about like 300 students. Taking everything we learned from that first year, we kind of hit the reset button, kind of cleared everyone out of their roles in the org and everything, had everyone reapply. And it's been pretty good since then, since that reset. And I think we're almost to 400 students now, which is pretty awesome. We've got people working on SoonerEsports.org. We've got some people now working on kind of a shoutcasting division so we can hone our skills in the whole live commentary of game broadcasting. So that way, eventually when we do a very public, like Bedlam or something, we've got people that can get up there and do it. So, I mean, and those things are all starting to kind of show the fruits of the labor, I guess. And
how do we develop this? How do we do this correctly? How do we get students involved, concentrate on community, and just make sure that we're building enough of a case study so that the esports organization at the university can really stake its claim and nobody can kind of second guess what we're doing here.
Because here we are, and you guys are doing this right now, and Sooner Esports, they've got regular reviews going up and stuff.
And now the organization has celebrated its 1-year anniversary on September 14th of 2018. And we are now going into November 2nd will be our 1-year anniversary where we open it up to the entire student population at OU. When we developed the infrastructure for the organization, we looked at what the industry on the pro side and the consumer side really needed. And most people, when they think of esports and competitive gaming, they think of just the player. And just like conventional sports, and I call it analog sports, that person only represents the 1% of the industry. But let's talk about the coaches, the analysts, the sports medicine, the marketeers, the venue operators, ESPN as a whole, and these other organizations that help provide visibility to what we do with this topic. And so we looked at ways of providing opportunities for students that were just not entirely about competition. And one of the things that I've recently said was an Overwatch roster for an entire school year is only 9 players maximum. And our student org right now, as of this day, sits at 384 on the dot. And that's a whole lot more than 9 students.
A leadership position requires you to be outgoing. You need to be able to go to events. You need to be able to meet students. You need to be able to advertise the org. So it kind of put me out of my shell. It gave me that confidence
gamers and like people who are gamers, things like that, are always people that I felt like I could relate to, because it was one of those like mutual things that you share with somebody. It's like, oh, you enjoy playing Mario Kart? I do too. But it's one of those where I've learned to kind of broaden my horizons in terms of the number and the type of gamers. You start learning about different types of gamers who like particular games, whether it's a style of game or just a specific title. And so I've kind of been able to learn how to interact with each of those smaller micro groups within the larger group, but then also understand the needs of the collective group as a whole, which has been really cool.
This really got me out there and made me meet new people. I made a lot of new friends. I'm really happy about it. And I'm more outgoing, I'm not as shy.
We looked at creating journalistic practicum, which is an extension of what we're doing right now. And I think right now we're sitting at close to 12 students, 13 students involved in that.
My main duty is to be editor-in-chief of SoonerEsports.org. So I manage a little team of about 10 or 12, but it's growing. We try to put out about 2 articles a week, depending on our schedules. And I edit them, I create content as well. I try to manage our team as much as I can. But that's just about all I do, as well as some PR stuff. One of the favorite things I've personally covered was May the 4th. And I did an entire article about like the best Star Wars games. I love it because it was really stupid. And recently I just had someone who recorded the gameplay footage that I used in the article like contact me and said it was a really cool article, like 5 months down the road. So that's really cool. But that was one of the most fun things I had, or one of the most fun articles I had writing.
Our streamers now are developing streaming energies as well as means to advocate for what student experience looks like. Again, another team of 10 to 12.
Twitch is just a website where people can like start streaming like just showing what they're doing, whether it be like playing video games, like making something, and it's just live usually. And for our Twitch, it has to be like focused on gaming. Right now everyone does like play a game, and yeah, that's what you'll find on our Twitch. As the Twitch director, I just maintain like the Twitch page and the programming we have. We have programming right now from Monday to Thursday, anywhere from like right now 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. So I just manage the students that want to stream on this page. They stream it at a specific time, and yeah, it's just like a programmed thing.
Then we have all of our competition developments, with the coaches being a hybrid between staff and students, still more student heavy. So we're developing in 6 titles right now. So Overwatch, League of Legends, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, Rocket League, and now Smash as of this week. And inside of that, Overwatch is 2 teams, Heroes of the Storm is 1 team, Hearthstone is 4 teams, Rocket League is 2 teams, League of Legends is 2 teams at this moment, and Smash will be 4 teams total. Each of them have their unique challenges, but we basically hold applications. Everyone's eligible to do this. And one of the things that we are setting a standard is that the GPA requirement is a 2.5 for all of our extracurriculars, no matter what. And it's to set that precedence that we need to elevate ourselves, because we have to sell this so that people care about it more, they take interest of it, and that we can buck those stereotypes that a lot of people may or may not have. Now, every single one of these teams will compete in a focused tournament. There's one specific tournament that we've targeted that are intercollegiate, that are focused on good competition and sportsmanship, and have scholarship prize pools if they get all the way to the top.
Getting the Overwatch team out there, and they came in second. And it was a really close match against the school that had, scholarships and was like an official varsity school kind of thing. They, brought it down to the wire. I think we lost by like 3% on the last control point. I think it was 100 to 97.
They are moving on to the point. Dr. Bainlink tries to get a shatter, but what a bait! The EMP into the Graviton. A fantastic combo from North Texas. They had all their ults saved up for that. River Lucky finding kills as well. This could be it. It might all be ogre now. The point has already flipped. Overtime is ticking down.
And that is going to be it. UNT gonna take it right here. In Game 5, they will be our winners for the Overwatch tournament here. OP Live.
So like final round, final game, final match, like down to the wire. So that was really cool to see like that, and I think that they didn't, get disheartened by that or anything, because that was stellar we're this close to being the Texas state champions, even though OU beat out all those Texas schools at once.
There's a tremendous amount of skill that goes into competitive gaming, just as much as there are, for any other sport or skill that you can be good at.
Competitive games take practice and dedication. You can always be a casual gamer. Casual gamers are just gamers that enjoy playing. I mean, it's their free time, it's their offhanded hobby. It's something they just love to do to get out of the real world. But competitive gamers, they take it to another level and they focus on a specific game or specific aspect of a game and get better at it because they enjoy the competitive aspects of it.
I've heard that there are CSGO players who have 10,000 hours on the game and they're barely even scratching the surface of what it's like to play at a professional level, and I'm sure that translates across every other title as well.
We also looked at community engagement and ways to take care of all gamers under a single roof, which is an insane task. One of the things that a lot of people are doing, that I've done in my own research and across higher educational esports developments, is they're so fixated on the topic of competition. The problem with that is that if you don't develop community, you have no fan base for that competition. You have nobody that's going to root, you have nobody that's going to cheer, you're going to have nobody that's interested in it.
My second job is to help expand the eSports Association into K-12 education. Currently we have a couple initiatives going on with Parks and Recreation and then also the Metro Library System. I'm really focused on community events and getting kids involved and making sure that we're including everyone and making sure that everyone is really cohesive, to let them know that you have a home at OU, that students and faculty at OU are into the same things you are. We want you here.
Mike always liked to say that when he talked esports to business managers or people who had desk jobs, he would point out, what's the difference between what you're doing now and what esports is?
I think a lot of that stems from the bad connotations behind gaming.
Just the name esports in general. People get hung up on whether it's a sport or not and don't really think about the merits.
People have this preconceived notion that they're just some lazy people who want to sit around and play video games all day. And it's really not the case, especially within our organization and the drive that a lot of our students have.
Gaming and esports are very different things. Gaming is playing basketball with your friends Friday night for leisure. Esports is the NBA Finals. The diversity is one of the most refreshing things. There is no entry barrier for women, and there's no entry barrier for those that have some disability, as long as they still can produce the same skill set. And that skill set is more challenging, obviously, for someone who has some disability or some other inability to function at the same level. But through diligence and through focus, they can absolutely be on the exact same team as a female or a male counterpart.
If esports is recognized as a legitimate job or sport, girls growing up can see that and have that dream as video games become more normalized for both genders.
Esports has a very bright future.
As an industry, I think is going to continue to take off.
I see evolution of curriculum, I see partnerships in the industry, I see more endorsement and more acknowledgement in the mainstream, and I see a lot more opportunity than the top 10% right now that represents the pro scene and all those crazy analytics of revenue.
I think we're in a really unique position to help supply that, and that's our mission as a university, is to help educate students on what their passions are. And if their passions are esports, well then let's figure out a way to help them out, get you guys into the next level, whatever that is, after you graduate in 4 or 5 years, and then kind of help continue to build the industry from there.
We call the organization the eSports Association mainly because esports is a hype word. It's a buzzword. But at the core, we're a gaming community first, with esports being a subset of it. What we wanted to build at OU's campus is a home for all gamers, to literally tackle that problem of the fragmentation between console versus PC and so forth. The organization as a whole is focused on community engagement first and foremost. After that comes all those developmental energies. No matter what, gaming is the heart of what we do. With everything, including traditional sports, you have to love the game, you have to love the competition, you have to love the community, you have to love your ability to have an outlet. All of those things are therapeutic, all of those things are collaborative, all of those things build community, as long as they're managed and grown in the way of positivity. And that's probably the biggest thing that I want people to know about the organization, is that our teams that represent us at the university level in the most formal way that we have at this time are only a small percentage of the 380 plus students and growing of who we actually are on OU's campus.
I think my favorite part about being in the esports organization is getting to hang out with people who enjoy the same things that I do. I'm a little bit older than most traditional students, so I grew up in a time where video games were not a popular thing. It was kind of like something only nerds did. So it's really refreshing to me to, be out in the open and be able to talk to all my friends about, video games that are coming up and like competitions and pro players and Twitch streamers, and people know what I'm talking about, and it's just really exciting.
All the people that I'm able to meet, I know in my high school, I know there's other people that played video games, but I didn't feel the courage to talk to them or try and say make a Discord and become friends with them. And it's definitely easier now in college and with the eSports Association to find other people who play video games and play with them.
My favorite thing about the organization is just the community and the fact that you're taking a group of people that may not have otherwise known each other. You probably have groups of people like the League of Legends players or the Counter-Strike players that all kind of knew who each other were, would play with each other on occasion, but this gives everybody a home. And I think that that's something that not only this university, but a number of universities across the country have been missing, is a unified effort to give gamers a home. And that communal aspect that we've been able to build here is, I think, it's extremely powerful. And I enjoy not only getting into the mix about it and getting to have conversations with a lot of the students, but also watching from afar, watching everybody interact with each other and see the friendships and relationships build to where they're helping each other out. And it stems outside of gaming from there too. You're not just talking about gaming or meta or strategies. You're talking about, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Do you need any help on homework? Have you ever taken this course? I mean, it's stemming way further than just gaming, but gaming is the core energy behind why we're all here. So it's really cool to see that communal aspect.
There's something for everyone to do. I think for the eSports Association, some people might be turned off because they think you have to be competitive. So I think it'd be good if we could get the message out that anyone who plays video games can join if they want a nice community. This is a place to join. Yeah.